Hi co-creators, it's Laura Duksta, and I want to share with you one of my absolutely most favorite books. Not only is it a lot of fun to read, but it is very insightful. And I'm an author, and I love to read, and I love great books, and I have a lot of favorites. But this one just makes me laugh out loud when I'm reading it, and helped me have some of the biggest insights, some really cool stories that I'm going to share with you. The name of it is God Doesn't Have Bad Hair Days, and neither do I. And it's by Miss Pam Grout, and the subtitle to the book is 10 Spiritual Experiments That Will Bring More Abundance, Joy, and Love to Your Life. Very, very cool. Here is Miss Pam. There she is. She is one of my soul sisters, or one of my star sisters, I say. We're up to similar things and inspiring and enjoying life and bringing good love and good messages to the planet. So, let's see. I'm going to share a little bit about the book, and then I want to share some of the things that I got out of it. So, some of the titles, chapter titles, which are just great, are God Looks Like ZZ Top and Other Annoying Myths, Lining Up Your Ducks, or What Prayer Is, Spiritual Principles Unveiled, and then these are the different exercises or experiments. One is called the Dude Abides Principle. There is a mind-boggling force that offers infinite love, tolerance, compassion, generosity, beauty, gentleness, joy, peace, and wisdom, and it is yours for the asking, anytime, anywhere. Experiment 2, the Volkswagen Jetta Principle. Whatever you focus on expands. Experiment 3, the Albie Einstein Principle, the somewhat dry but mandatory principle on energy. You are a field of energy and an even bigger field of energy. I won't read them all, actually. There's the Donald Trump Principle, the Abracadabra Principle, the Dear Abby Principle, the Sally Field Principle, the Dude Likes You, he really likes you, the Godlets Are Us Principle, the Harry Houdini Principle, the Cheese Does Not Stand Alone Principle, and then the appendix, You and Me Against the Material World. And I want to share 3 of the ideas from the appendix that she says, it's important to enlist others who will help you keep 3 things in mind. And these are the 3 things. And when I reread this recently, I thought, wow, this is really part of what we're creating and co-creating our reality. They were just so great. So these are the 3 things in the appendix. You are awesome. Whether you realize it or not, you are a tremendously powerful spiritual being. Currents of possibilities run so deep in your bones that you will continue to be unhappy until you finally get it. Number 2, the great God of your being has big plans for you. All it takes is a little dedication and a lot of resolve. Make mind training a daily part of your life, and your life will take care of itself, guaranteed. And number 3, and that one spoke so much to us, but here's number 3, we're all in this together. If we take care of one another and go the extra mile to keep each other motivated and on track, we all gain. If we reach out with compassion whenever someone is struggling, we're all lifted up. Sure, we could walk alone to the finish line, but the real joy comes from tackling the journey together, from raising our voices in one mighty, unified yeehaw! So, I love this book. Love, love, love it. Can't more highly recommend it. You can get it, of course, from Amazon. Me and my friends actually chipped in and bought a case of them from the publisher. You get 50% off and free shipping, and we handed them out. It was about 30 bucks. So I want to share 2 of the exercises that I did that were just great. One of the exercises that I just got a lot out of. One of the exercises is, or one of the experiments, is that you need to walk around for 2 days, for 48 hours, with no credit cards and no cash. And you need to trust that the universe is going to take care of you. So she tells this really amazing story about Yogananda, who did this and was treated like a king when he was like 14, went on a train to a major city with no money, just to, actually his brother had bet him to see if spirit would take care of him, or this mighty God, or whatever. So what happened for me in that exercise was not so great. What I realized is I did not have a lot of trust. I did not have a lot of trust what I saw in myself and others, and then ultimately God. So that's one of my big issues. Actually, it's a very human issue. I think I'm not alone in that. But I had the whole thing mapped out, like where I was going to go, who I was going to be with, that would buy me dinner or buy me lunch, or I was going to a birthday party, so I knew there was going to be food there. I didn't have money to go buy a birthday gift, but I used something from home versus like going to Borders and expecting some miracle to happen. Or one of the things, I was on my way over to a football game of my nephew's, and typically I'd stop and get like an iced coffee or iced tea on my way over, and I didn't do that. Because I kind of thought, well, what's gonna happen? Is somebody in line gonna offer to pay for my drink, or then am I gonna get up there and have to say, oh my God, I don't have any money? But I could tell that I was like planning the whole thing out versus just surrendering to the exercise and trusting that I would be taken care of. So that was one of the big insights that I got. And then, this was so cool, there's the Volkswagen Jetta principle, and for 24 hours you have to focus on, they said, what did they call it? Sunset beige cars. You have to look for as many possible sunset beige cars that you can find. And then for the next 24 hours you look for butterflies. So I didn't exactly know what sunset beige was, so I looked it up online to find out sunset beige, and I was like, oh, that's a really typical color of cars in Florida. So I looked out the window of my apartment building, and the car right underneath my window is sunset beige. So I was like, oh, I got in my car and I was driving over to Offerdalls, one of the places that Sandy and I frequent as our out-of-home office. And on my way over there, I must have seen about 35 sunset beige cars, at least, in the parking lot, driving beside me, all over the place. I was like, you know what? And then I'm sitting at Offerdalls and I'm looking out the window, and sunset beige car after sunset beige car is going by. And I'm thinking, I'm like, sunset beige is just a really popular color in Florida. I'm going to pick something a little bit more obscure. I'm going to look for purple cars. That color that a car really shouldn't be. That like just deep grape purple. And they're not visible here in Florida, or non-existent in Florida, but I knew that it was going to take something to find them. So I decided I'm going to look for purple cars. So I leave Offerdalls, and on my way home, I'm straining, killing myself, basically, to find purple cars. I'm looking in parking lots, I'm, looking on the road, I'm looking everywhere to find a purple car. And I don't live too far from the place, and I'm coming over the Sunrise Bridge, and I say, Laura, you know what? Maybe that was the point of the exercise. Maybe she picked a fairly typical car color so that you would get the idea that God is everywhere, present all the time. It's not something that you have to look for, so make so difficult. And I was like, look what I did. Instead of acting like God is everywhere and abundant and alive and vital in my life, I made it like the most obscure, hard to find, most ridiculous thing. And I had tears in my eyes when I saw this. I was like, it's not the point. But I also said, you know what though? But with God, anything is possible. And I might just see 3 purple cars today. And I was sitting, okay, so I had the ocean in front of me. For anybody that knows, Fort Lauderdale or the beach, or you can just imagine it. I am sitting at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. I have to make a left or a right. And I'm sitting waiting for the light to make a right-hand turn. And as I say that, I say, with God, anything is possible. Seeing a purple car might just be as unexpected, that wasn't the exact word that I said, but unexpected as getting a 7-digit contract for a first-time author for a children's picture book. And I said, but with God, anything is possible. I wish I could think of the word that I used. It's almost as unpredictable, something like that. And at that moment, I tell you, at that moment, driving south on A1A, I got the light too. This truck, this 18-wheeler truck with a purple cab, but not just the purple cab, it was purple and silver with stars, like these shooting stars, and white. It was